Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. We have a couple hot topics today. The first one is something everybody's interested, especially with the new year coming, and that's fat loss. We have a fat loss expert on the show today, and he's going to answer a lot of questions. You can post questions, too, during the live show, and we'll present them to him as well. And his name is Stephen Campolo, and many of you probably know him. He's got a huge Instagram and social media following. Later in the show, we're going to be joined by Dmitry Lenov and Michael Dentist. We did a show about Tao Patch recently, and I got a lot of emails, people saying, is this real? And the research on Tao Patch shows that it really helps people with multiple sclerosis. And so instead of me pointing to the research, we're going to have an actual patient on talking about their experience with Tao Patch. So that's a little bit later in the show. Before we get started with anything else, we have to thank our title sponsor, and that's Legendary Foods. Makers of the tasty pastry. What started out to be a replacement for the crappy Pop-Tart was a healthy version, and it's become so much more because they're delicious. They really taste like you're eating pastry. People will eat them because they're delicious, and the fact that they have less than 1 gram of sugar and 20 grams of protein is just an extra benefit. You can go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary, use the code SHR10, and get 10% off your order. Listen for the secret word during the commercial break. Email it to onair@superhumanradio.net. Make sure you include your mailing address, and we'll send you, well, not we, Legendary Food and Ron Penna, will send you not only some tasty pastries, but some other goodies. We are getting such rave reviews about what people are getting in their box. Are you effing kidding me? I was expecting a box of tasty pastries, but what I got was amazing. The kids like them in the houses that are getting them for free. Everybody loves what they're getting from Legendary Foods when they get the box of free tasty pastries. Okay, without further delay, let me bring my guest on. Stephen Campolo, how are you?
Carl, how are you, my man? Good to be here.
Good. Thanks for being here today. Everybody wants to lose fat. Well, and I want to clarify something. I know that the banner says weight loss expert, but you're not a weight loss expert. You're a fat loss expert, right?
Yeah, so that's something I always want to clarify to people, right? Because people kind of use the words weight loss, fat loss interchangeably, right? But, when you really think about it, I could have anyone lose a ton of weight, right? Put them on a severe calorie deficit, have them do a ton of cardio, and you'll lose a lot of weight, but you're going to lose fat and you're going to lose muscle tissue, which is not what we want. So you're going to end up looking like a, softer, weaker, skinnier, fat version of what you are. And that's kind of what I did when I first started my journey years ago, because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any fitness knowledge. But what people really want to do is lose body fat, right? You want to keep the muscle tissue, or even better, build muscle tissue while you're dropping the body fat. I mean, that's how you create the ultimate, male strong physique that most guys think about.
Let's face it, we have a lot of strong women out there nowadays too.
Of course, yeah, of course. So, I mean, the protocol for my male clients and female clients is really the same, right? Because even females, you have to do some type of resistance training, to have a nice, sexy, toned, tight body, right? That's what most people want. So that's why we prioritize weight training, along with, following a fat loss program.
Talk about your beginnings. How do you find yourself in this space?
Yeah, so I was a really, really overweight kid growing up. Grew up on Long Island, New York, in an Italian home where, food is everything, right? Social events.
Love. Food is love.
Yeah, food is love. And I had a love affair with food for as long as I can remember, and that really hasn't changed even till today. I love food just as much as I love fitness, right? But again, when I was younger, you don't think of things as far as, being attracted, or trying to win over girls. You just, what tastes good, what brings pleasure. And for me, that was food up until I was about 14, 15 years old. So it wasn't until I was about 12, my dad took me to the doctor for just, a normal checkup. And the doctor, I remember him distinctly, looking at my dad and being like, hey, he needs to do something about his weight, because right now, he's obese. I think I was like, 270 something pounds at the time. Keep in mind, being 12, 13 years old, maybe I was 5'8", 5'9", like that's a lot of weight. And being that young, I was at risk for being pre-diabetic. All my health markers were, in off the charts. So, but again, I wasn't at a point where I was ready to do something about it myself, right? That happened when I started going into high school. I started realizing, what? All the girls are talking to my buddies, the jocks, the guys that are fit, the guys that are making the baseball team. So now it's something I have to face and, really take on head on. I can't continue to go down this path, or at least I didn't want to continue to go down that path, because I knew that now there was a cost associated with it. I was no longer just a kid where I was enjoying myself. Now becoming an adult, I was like, all right, something has to change, or, who knows what's going to happen. Either I'm going to die, or I'm going to be, I hate to say it, but I'm going to continue to get bullied, be the loser. And I didn't want that for myself.
So when did it change, and how did it change? What did you do first?
Yeah. So I was about 14, 15 years old. And again, there was a girl I liked, I had a crush on. About this time, I was going through puberty. The hormones were starting to kick in. And I remember distinctly, it was New Year's Eve of 2003. And I said, you know what? I'm going to change my life this year. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know, what the process is going to look like. But, being a big Rocky fan as a kid, I'm like, well, Rocky, he runs when he's getting ready for a fight, right? I mean, he eats only protein. He drinks eggs. And that's really what I did. Growing up on New York, it was freezing cold out in January. But every single night, lo and behold, I would put my sweatshirts on. I would put my jacket on, and I would run, maybe – it felt like it was 10 miles, but in reality, I was so out of shape. It was probably only a quarter of a mile. I would get to the end of my block, and, it felt like I had run a marathon. Right. But, started taking baby steps and, lost about 40, 50 pounds pretty quickly. I was just eating chicken and broccoli every day. I had no knowledge whatsoever about nutrition, about training. And keep in mind, back then too, there was no social media. There was no Google or YouTube. So all I had
Thank God.
So all I had was, were the magazines to look at, the bodybuilding magazines, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And really, it all began to change when my dad bought me the Pumping Iron DVD, because I had no idea that Arnold Schwarzenegger had looked like that back in the day. I only knew him, as the 90s action star. I didn't know he was this crazy bodybuilder.
Right.
So now, kind of going through this phase, being a young man, you want to be strong, you want to be impressive, you want to be macho. I'm like, okay, I just lost 40, 50 pounds. I did it pretty quickly, but now I have, saggy man boobs. I have a saggy stomach. I look just as bad as I did when I was fat, right? I just weigh less.
Right.
So that started my journey. I signed up for the gym, and I started weight training. And, first pump I got in the gym, I was immediately addicted. And it's really been a process ever since then for the past, almost 20 years now.
Some people are just lucky that they feel like I was like that too. Once I started training, I thought, man, I want to just keep doing this. It feels so good. But there are a lot of people out there who have, workout adversity. They just don't even want to go into the gym. How do you motivate them to train?
Yeah. I think this might come with age, but one thing people have to realize is, people are there to focus on themselves, right? A lot of times you don't realize that until you get older, but no one is really there. They don't really care about you. I hate to say it. A lot of times we think the world revolves around us. We think people are just staring at us the whole time. And that was my biggest fear too. I was extremely insecure, being an overweight guy. I had very, very low self-esteem. And my biggest fear was people laughing at me, picking on me, bullying me. But one thing I realized as I get older, I'm like, wait, no one even gave a damn about me in the first place as far as what I was doing. They were all focused on themselves in the gym. So, if someone's listening to this and they're maybe at that point, I was 100 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, and they're intimidated or, not really sure, how to process that. It's like, one thing I could promise you is everyone is so, focused on themselves. And as human beings, most of us are just naturally selfish anyway. Right. So we're not really caring about what people, across the gym are doing.
People think when they're in the gym training, and that was the genesis of the gym line curves.
Yeah.
Because women thought the guys were looking at them and picking them apart. Oh, she's got a big butt, which by the way, that's become very popular now.
Right.
The women just wanted to train by themselves and no mirrors. Curves had no mirrors because the women didn't want to be reminded what they look like. I think that is such a stupid way to address your body because you want to see progress. You want to see the mirrors. I remember going from being really fat to wanting to wear a guinea t-shirt, like, man, I look good. I could put a guinea tee on now. Some people call them wife beaters.
Wife beater, yeah.
I remember that moment, like, oh my God, I look good in a wife beater. Like you have to embrace, you have to embrace who you are, where you are in order to get to where you want to be. You got to embrace that person first. So it's funny you say that. Yeah. A lot of people it's not about, they don't want the hard work. It's more about they don't want to be in the gym being scrutinized about how they look. And the truth is, most of us see a really overweight person working out. At least I do. I'll say something good to them. Keep it up, man. You're doing good. You want to support them. You want to.
And that's really how Planet Fitness was kind of birthed, right? We're the no judgment-free zone. But again, listen, I always say this, whatever gets someone in the gym, right? Whether it's CrossFit or, a cycling class, yoga, whatever people are doing to just get healthier, get fit. Not everyone wants to, build a lot of muscle. Not everyone wants to be 10% body fat. Whatever is going to help get someone healthy and just get the ball rolling. That's what they should do. Right. So, but you got to start somewhere. I mean, that's the most important thing. It's actually taking the first step.
So your Instagram is loaded with people you train.
Yeah.
And metamorphosis type transformations that they have.
Yeah.
And that inspired you to write a book, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the book is called 7 Laws of Six-Pack Abs. And, a lot of people may misinterpret the name of this book because a lot of people think that in order to get six-pack abs, you have to do a lot of crunches and sit-ups. No, six-pack abs are made basically through diet because we all have abs that look exactly like that.
Yeah.
You can't see them under a layer of fat. If people want to check out your book, they can go to shrnetwork.biz/77laws, 77 LAWS, to learn more about it. And we'll plug that again here in a minute. But a lot of people think in order to get six-pack abs, you just have to build the muscles. Those muscles are there already. It's the fat that's covering them that keeps you from seeing them, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you follow me on social media, and I feel like I'm always preaching the same message, but it's the same message that's going to make the biggest difference for most people. 80% of how you look is determined by what you're putting in your mouth. And again, everything I talk about is from my own experience because I did literally every single thing wrong you could do. Right. And it wasn't through going through this experience myself and trying to figure it out on my own that I started to learn what's working, what's not working. And for the longest time, man, I would train 7 days a week, 2 hours a day. I actually fell in love with training to the point where I enjoyed it. But again, kind of growing up in an Italian home, every single Sunday was pasta Sunday with the meatballs, with the pastries, with the desserts. So I would kill myself Monday through Saturday in the gym. I'd watch my diet very closely, but every single Sunday it was, my big cheat day. And I would overeat. I would start eating from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, eating as much as I could. And I would realize every Monday morning I would step on the scale. My weight would be right back to where it was the previous week. So I said, why the hell am I killing myself in the gym if I'm going to undo all my hard work on Sunday? And a lot of people do that till today, right? They're pretty good Monday through Friday. They're pretty structured. They have a solid work schedule. They drop the kids off at school. So it's a lot easier to follow a training program and a nutrition plan. But then the weekend comes and that lack of structure is completely gone. They overeat, they go out to, with friends, they drink, they go to restaurants. And then Monday morning, they're starting right back where they were before, right? Well, again, that's a nutrition problem. It's not really a training problem, right? So one thing people have to realize is you can't out-train a bad diet. And just a quick story to kind of stack on top of that. I had a guy reach out to me he was training for an Ironman. Now, an Ironman is something where his entire job was just to train for that Ironman, right? He was pretty financially well off. So he was training like 4 or 5 hours a day, just committed to the Ironman contest. And he reached out to me for coaching. And I remember asking, I'm like, you're training 4, 5, 6 hours per day, running, cycling, swimming. You're burning probably 5, 6, 7,000 calories a day. And this guy was around 20% body fat, and he had probably 20, 25 pounds of fat to lose. I go, what is your diet like? Because you must be eating a lot more calories than you're burning. And it comes down to, he was eating these like gel calorie packs, to fuel his workouts.
Yeah, no, it's all sugar.
So it's all sugar, right? But he was doing this constantly while he was training. So it didn't really matter. He was burning 7,000 calories a day because he was consuming more than 7,000 calories per day, right? So, just in basic terms, it's like if you're eating more than you're burning, inevitably you're going to gain weight.
And while we watch that on a day-to-day basis, really it's the total of the week.
Yes.
And that's why one day can completely derail you.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's a totality of the week, right? So some days, for me personally, I'll do a maintenance day where I'll eat, 3,000, 3,500 calories every third or fourth day if I'm feeling hungry, if I'm, feeling low energy. But then the next few days, I'm right back on my, my 2,500 calories. But as long as, by the end of the week, as long as I'm in a calorie deficit spread over the week period, I'm good to go, right? But again, a lot of people, when the weekend comes, they just go off the rails and they swing to the other side. And that's really where a lot of the damage happens.
What about alcohol? So I'm a big proponent of, look, don't tell me alcohol is good for my heart.
Right.
It's BS. If it's good for me, give it to the dog, give it to the baby, because it's good for them too.
Right.
And I also, like you, I'm Italian. So, we like to drink. It's part of festivities. But I don't lie to myself and tell myself alcohol is good for me.
Right.
But then there's the other side of the coin. I have friends who starve themselves so they can drink 3-4 days a week. Where do you fall on alcohol? Is it permissible? Is it okay? 1 day a week cheat, or if you're really serious, no alcohol?
So for me, alcohol kind of goes hand, it applies to the same thing with, donuts or sweets or, ice cream. To me, it's all the same thing, right? It's something that you probably shouldn't overconsume because too much of one thing is going to be bad for your goals, right? So my biggest thing is balance, right? Me personally, I've never been a big drinker. So if I never had another drink the rest of my life, it wouldn't bother me. Some people, and I've had some clients like this where they're like, hey, does this mean, for the next 3 months or next 6 months, I'm never going to be able to have a sip of wine or a drink? And that's not the case, right? Because again, at the end of the day, people have their own vices. And if I tell you, hey, Carl, the one thing you can't have over the next 3 months is, let's say, pizza, right? Let's say you love pizza and I tell you can't have pizza. The one thing you're going to crave and the one thing you're going to want is probably the one thing I tell you can't have. And it's going to make the process a lot harder to follow.
Right. In fact, a lot of people bail on the process if they can't have that one thing. Look, I knew a guy who had such bad autoimmune disorder. And I told him he was eating bread every day, gobs and gobs of bread. I said, you got to give up bread. And he says, nah, I'd rather they cut the rest of my intestines out.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like over bread? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, listen, again, if I had to just eat chicken and broccoli the rest of my life to stay in shape, I would just say, hey, you know what? I'll be fat, right? You have to give people some type of balance. Fitness is great. Training is great. Eating healthy is great. But if you could allow yourself things here and there to keep you on track in the long term, that's the most important thing. So, if you have to have a glass of wine every night, as long as it's within your daily calorie range and you're still going to be, in a deficit, then you know what? Have it. If that's going to keep you on track for the long term, I'd rather have that than have someone go crazy on the weekend and
Because
over drinking, right?
the reality is there's plenty of lean alcoholics out there where they have, you can see their arteries and veins running around. So it's not like alcohol equals body fat.
Right.
But you're right. You got to look at it from a caloric standpoint. If you can afford that calorically today, then have your glass of wine.
It's like when people say sugar is the enemy, right? Listen, too much of anything is going to be bad for you. Too much sugar will equate to too many calories, which means you're either going to be, staying stuck at your weight or gaining weight. But if you could fit in, little treats here and there, even on a daily basis, right? If you're eating healthy 80% of the time, then fit in some things you enjoy throughout the day. Again, as long as you're staying within your daily calorie range, you're going to be okay long term.
When I look around at the population in the gym, and especially the people who's never change from year to year, they never change,
right.
And maybe that's their goal. I'm not judging them because I want to be bigger and more muscular every single day.
Yeah,
but I'm 63 years old. That becomes harder and harder. But when I look at the people out there, I don't think the problem is people don't grind hard enough. I think the people don't eat enough and recover enough. What do you think about that statement?
So here's one thing I believe in. Nutrition should be your priority. Recovery is just as important as nutrition. Now, again, a lot of people have been led to believe that as long as you kill yourself in the gym, you're able to eat what you want, drink what you want, sleep, recovery doesn't matter. I know for a fact that your recovery should be structured just as much as your training should, right? Because if you're under recovered, then I don't care how much you're doing in the gym. I don't care, how intense your workouts are. You're never going to be able to really get to where you want to be because your body's never going to be fully recovered, right? So, like, I love what the Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt says, right? He said, sleep and recovery allow my body to absorb the training that I'm doing in the gym. And a lot of people, when they think about, recovery or they think about training, they think that they're building muscle in the gym. And, you and I both know that's not the case. You're actually breaking down the muscle tissue.
Right.
Where you're growing the muscle is when you're home, you're sleeping, you're eating properly, you're getting, your 7-8 hours of sleep. And that's when the body's actually able to recover and progress. But if you keep grinding, never give your body a rest day, then you're kind of just digging yourself into a hole and you're never going to be able to progress in the long term.
Robert Thompson says that, some of this question got cut off, but it appears that his metabolism has slowed with age. Do you believe that? I mean, do you believe that as we age, we're destined to slow down? And when we talk about metabolism, we're talking about the body's use of energy versus the intake of energy. When you're taking in more energy than your body needs, then you get fatter and fatter and fatter. So the idea that your metabolism slows means you got to cut back on how much you eat. But do you believe that? Or do you think metabolism slows as we age, or do you think we age because our metabolism slows down? I mean, it's kind of like a cart and horse, isn't it?
Yeah, so like this is something I've kind of debated people on in the past, and I've read so many studies on this topic, and I've heard from experts in the field. And even them, they'll debate this, right? Well, maybe it's not really a factor of your metabolism. Maybe it's just a factor that you're moving less, right? Because as we get older, let's face it, we're not moving more. We're not training as intense as we used to, even though, maybe we think we are. We're most likely not. We're not moving the weight that we used to move when we were younger. So in effect, you're just burning less calories than you used to when you were younger, which means you have to either lower your calorie intake, and you're not going to be able to sustain the same calories you were eating when you were in your 20s or 30s, right? So I don't think your metabolism just naturally just slows down as we get older. Is it possible? Absolutely. But I think it's more a factor of just moving less. You're not training as intense. You're not moving your body as much as you used to when you were younger, just simply because you're older.
So what do you see as the number one problem that people or mistake people make when they set out on a journey to lose body fat?
There's so many things.
Give me the short list.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a big mindset guy, right? I mean, I'm a big believer that you have to have some clear and concise goal in front of you if you're going to stay on track. Because at the end of the day, accountability is critical, right? I think people that have a coach or that have a mentor or someone to check in with and someone that's going to really hold their feet to the fire is really important. Because let's face it, a lot of us, especially if you've been overweight your whole life, if you start a program and you don't see progress happen right away, then, more than likely you're going to get discouraged, you're going to fall off track, and you're never going to get there, right? But having a goal and having something in front of you is going to keep you that much more motivated. Whether you have, put a deadline, maybe you have a wedding coming up or a vacation or just something like that to look at every day, that's going to keep you on track. The second thing I would say, nutrition. Your nutrition has to be the foundation, for your fitness journey. If your goal is to lose body weight and gain lean muscle tissue, you have to be eating enough protein. You have to be in some type of structured calorie deficit. I mean, those two things have to be there. If you're not eating enough protein, then I don't care how much you're working out in the gym, you're not going to build the muscle tissue that you're breaking down. And I don't care, again, how much you're training either. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you're not going to be burning the body fat, right? So training is really the third thing. A lot of people think training is the first thing. I think training should be really the third thing you should focus on, because if you're eating the proper amount of food, you're getting enough protein, if you're in the right mindset, the training is going to help facilitate everything that much more effectively. And you could actually get away with training, 3-4 days a week. You don't have to kill yourself and train 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think that's actually going to do more harm than good.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's especially true of women. Women, no man ever said after seeing their weight on the scale, oh, I'm just not going to eat anymore. But every single woman on the planet has said that. Right. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm just not going to eat anymore. Right. And the reality is that women are different than men. No, Carl, you got to be wrong. No, they are, because they're a factory to make other humans.
Yep.
So they have tighter constraints on body fat levels and energy expenditure levels. When a woman doubles down and ups her cardio, she doesn't lose body fat. And there's coaches out there that'll go, oh, that's nonsense. No, because her body downregulates the energy expenditure. She's exhausted all the time. And she literally will hold on to body fat from an evolutionary perspective, because just in case she gets pregnant, we need body fat.
Right.
So what do you think? Like, women don't eat enough and they train too much? As a general statement, how close am I?
No, I agree with you. I mean, listen, I have probably 30% of my clients are female, right? So I definitely see, different. I train my female clients a lot different than I train my male clients. Now, again, at the end of the day, it does come down to, making sure that the calorie numbers are in place, right? But I see a lot of ladies just overdo cardio. I mean, all they do is cardio. And whenever you do one specific activity just repetitively, day after day after day, your body tends to get pretty good at it, right? And just become more efficient. So you start burning less calories. So, this is why I'm such a big advocate of resistance training for ladies, especially because, again, as we age, gravity just works against us, right? Things start to sag, things start to droop. So we want to make sure we're tightening, toning. And again, for ladies, the goal is to look fit, to look sexy, to have a tight, sexy, fit body. But yeah, I think a lot of ladies, they severely undereat, which damages their metabolism long-term. And then they add the excessive cardio on top of it. And it's typically the same cardio. I don't know about you, but I see the same ladies at the gym, the same time every day, doing the same amount of cardio.
Burning it up. I know.
For hours on the Stairmaster, on the treadmill, on the elliptical. And I'm like, man, if they only just dedicated that same hour to lifting weights, maybe eating a little bit more calories, eating enough protein. Another big issue for ladies too, and you probably know this, they don't eat enough protein. They think if they eat too much protein, they're going to, turn into a bodybuilder.
Oh,
right?
I want to get bulky. I like to say to them, try. Just try and get bulky. Let's see what we can find out. Just try.
I always tell them, I'm like, I wish it was that easy. I wish I could, eat enough protein and lift weight for 2 days and gain 10 pounds of muscle, right? But yeah, those are the things I see with females: over excessive cardio, severely under eating, not enough protein. And when you combine all three of those things, like, you're just not going to have any, much success at all.
I have a neighbor who has a lady that works with him in another state, and she's been listening to the podcast, and she reached out to me and she told me what she was doing. I said, you're not eating enough. I said, she said, I can't lose weight. I gave her the analogy about fat and weight. I says, look, you can lose weight getting cancer, but that's not good weight to lose, right? You want to lose body fat. You want to build muscle. So she doubled her calorie intake. I just heard from her about 2 weeks ago. She's leaner. She's training harder. She has more energy, and she doubled her calorie intake.
Right.
And
that's
all it took. The book, while it's called 77 Laws of Six-Pack Abs, it really should be called What You Need to Know About Nutrition to Be the Best Body You Can Be. And if you go to shrnetwork.biz/77laws, you can learn more about it. Everybody wants abs. I don't care about abs that much anymore. I just want to be big and strong as I get into my 70s. That's all I really care about at this point. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have more of Stephen Campolo, and feel free to post questions if you want. We'll work them into the show. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio. Stay tuned. Is there something interfering with your happiness or ability to achieve your goals? BetterHelp can help. They will assess your needs and match you with a licensed therapist. This is not a self-help or crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely online. They have a broad range of experts and are available worldwide without having to wait in an uncomfortable waiting room. Get the help you need and start living a happier life today. Go to shrnetwork.biz/betterhelp. That's better, HELP, and receive 10% off your first month of counseling when you use the code SHR. I need to share with you all a revolutionary new wearable technology called HapBee. HapBee allows you to enjoy the effects of caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, melatonin, and muscle relaxants without actually ingesting anything. Yes, really. They figured out the unique magnetic signature of each of these molecules and recorded them. Just put the HapBee on, choose the signal you want, and it starts projecting the magnetic signature of that molecule that you choose, like coffee for feeling alert. Go to hapbee.com/SHR. That's HAPBEE.com/SHR to learn more and unlock an $80 discount exclusively for the Superhuman Radio listeners. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. Legendary. If there is one mineral you should be worried about not getting enough of, it's magnesium. Magnesium is the body's master mineral, powering over 300 critical reactions, including detoxification, fat metabolism, energy, and even digestion is influenced by the presence of magnesium. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about a new magnesium product I've been taking now called Magnesium Breakthrough. It's the ultimate magnesium supplement, easily the best I've ever seen or experienced. With all 7 forms of magnesium, I was able to arrange an amazing deal for my audience, and I guarantee it's the best deal available on this product. Seriously, with volume discounts combined with our custom 10% coupon code SHR10, you can save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough. And I promise that this deal is only available on this specific website, magbreakthrough.com/SHR. You won't find that deal on Amazon or even on the company's own website. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use code SHR10 to save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Knoll Creek Hemp Company's Delta 8 soft chews are the premier Delta 8 product on the market today. Knoll Creek's Delta 8 is produced from high-quality hemp-derived CBD oil, and soft chews are manufactured using proprietary nano-emulsification technique that ensures the Delta 8 soft chew will timely deliver the desired effects cleanly and consistently from piece to piece. In a space where at least 70% of the products fail to meet label claims and where most users of conventional hemp products are left disappointed, Knoll Creek's Delta 8 soft chews are a product you can trust. Visit shrnetwork.biz/Delta8. That's DELTA and the number 8, and use the code SHR20 to get 20% off your first order today.
Spit that out right now. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Later in the show, if you or someone you know has multiple sclerosis, you're going to want to listen in. We're talking with Stephen Campolo. He is a fat loss expert. He's got over 250,000 people who follow him on Instagram. I'm sure he's got similar followings on other platforms. Every day, he posts pictures, before and after pictures of clients, one after another. They look like complete transformations. He obviously knows what he's doing. So we are talking to him today about fat loss. We're also helping to promote his new book. His book is called The 77 Laws of Six-Pack Abs. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/77laws, LAWS, all one word, you can learn more about it. So Robert Thompson has a couple questions. I'm not surprised by his first question because Robert Thompson loves BCAAs. And I keep trying to tell him that EAAs are a better choice, but he loves his BCAAs. So what do you think about BCAAs for recovery and muscle gain?
So, I mean, again, this is something that's been kind of debated, over the years, right? Because a lot of guys say, well, if I'm eating enough protein, then I'm getting plenty of amino acids to help facilitate recovery. And I mean, that's the truth of the matter, right? I mean, if you're eating one gram of protein per pound of body weight, or 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, is it really necessary to have BCAAs or EAAs? I mean, not really. You're going to do just fine with muscle recovery. I personally like to drink BCAAs or EAAs just because I just like the taste. I get tired of drinking water, so I like to have that's kind of like my flavored water, right? So, is it necessary? Not really, but if you're struggling to get enough protein, then you should probably address your protein intake first and not become so reliant on BCAAs.
Good point. And his second question is, does sauna and steam room align with your programs?
So those are additional things that it can't hurt you, right? It can only help you. So if you have the ability or, the capability to do that.
The access.
Yeah, if you have the access to a steam room at your gym or your home or a sauna, why not do it? Me personally, I don't do sauna. I don't do steam room. But again, I just don't have the time to sit in a sauna for 20, 30 minutes. I'd rather get my butt in the gym, and get my workout done. But if you have it, hey, go for it. It's not going to hurt you.
I have a sauna at home, and my new routine is I get up and do my cardio fasted. Then I sit in the sauna for about 20 minutes. Yeah. And really, I feel marvelous the rest of the day, whether I go to the gym or I don't go to the gym. But yeah, it's one of those things. A lot of people don't like heat. They don't like extreme heat. And if you don't like extreme heat, a steam room is even worse because the moisture actually brings the heat right to the skin, where the dry sauna, it's not. So do you think there's a lot of new fad diets out there? And there will be a new one next week and a new one the week after. Do you think any of these new fad diets, whether it be keto, whether it be carnivore, do you think any of them are valuable tools in the fat loss discussion?
Here's what I think about that, right? I say any diet could be helpful. Any diet could be useful. Any diet could be effective. My first question when someone asks me that is, can you see yourself following this for the rest of your life, right?
Forever.
Can you see yourself following this diet from now until, whenever the Lord calls you home, right? And if your answer is no, then maybe you should find something to where you could have more balance, you could have more flexibility, and really enjoy the process. Because I've done all these diets. I've done keto. I've tried carnivore. I've tried, more flexible dieting to where, I'm able to kind of eat the foods I enjoy as long as I'm hitting my calories. So like all things, there's a time and a place. But again, if you're not going to be able to stick with it long term, then you're just not going to be successful.
Oh, sorry about that. That's the beauty of the internet. I thought maybe Facebook went down again.
Okay.
So what basically, if you can, and I've heard this before. What's the best diet? And if that's the one that your client will stick to.
Yeah.
So if carnivore turns you on, and you can stick to that, then go for it. I don't think keto is a good diet. And we just did a great show with Joel Green. A lot of these diets, especially like intermittent fasting, they work for a while.
Yeah.
They work for a while. The body, just like continuous cardio, the body goes, you know what? I'm used to this. I know how to compensate for it. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to go back to where I was. The body's always looking for that homeostasis. I really have become a firm believer of the true bodybuilding diet. High protein, healthy carbs, green vegetables and stuff like that, healthy fats in every sitting, in every meal.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And I find that I feel better. I put on muscle faster. I sleep better. And I'm a 5 meal a day guy. I find that those small meals throughout the day, I'm never hungry. I lose body fat faster. So if you had to pick one diet, if somebody said, I'll stick to whatever diet you put me on, which one do you think is the best overall for the average person to lose body fat and build muscle? You think it's the bodybuilding diet?
So much like you, listen, I'm a bodybuilder at heart, right? I think everyone, if they're being truthful with themselves, even if they don't want to use that term, if you're trying to build lean muscle tissue and lose body fat, you're a bodybuilder. You don't have to step on stage to compete, right? I did my first, natural bodybuilding show when I was 18 years old. And ever since then, I'm just a fan of it. And there's a lot to learn from a lot of these guys, right? A lot of people call it bro science or bro training splits. But at the end of the day, these guys are some of the, the fittest, most muscular or leanest guys. They probably know a thing or two of what they're doing. And I've worked with some of the top coaches, some of these coaches that coach the top Olympians. And one thing I always find myself coming back to is a well-balanced diet works. Eating enough protein, eating a moderate amount of carbs, a moderate amount of fats, you're gonna be leaps and bounds ahead of where you want to be. Because again, it's like when I talk to people that have tried the keto diet or they've tried the OMAD diet, eating one meal per day, intermittent fasting, those things are okay, right? And they can work in the short term. But like I said before, you have to ask yourself, can I do this for the rest of my life? Like me personally, when I tried keto in the past, my workouts sucked. Like my muscle, I didn't have any glycogen in my muscle, right? So I'm like, why am I doing this diet if the one part of my day, the training, which I want to enjoy, I'm not getting any fulfillment out of it. I'm not feeling my muscles contract. I lost some weight pretty quickly, but a lot of it was water weight, right? Because your body flushes all the water when you do a carnivore or a keto diet. And that excites a lot of people because what do most people want? They want to lose the most amount of weight fast. They want it overnight, right? And, the sad thing about the fitness industry is they have to make something marketable. And unfortunately, the old school, high protein, well-balanced, carbohydrate and fat diet, it's not very marketable. It's not very sexy, right? So there's always going to be, like you said, what's the next sexy thing? Is it a form of intermittent fasting? Is it a form of keto? Is it a form of carnivore? The HCG diet, right? Eating 500 calories a day.
Oh my God. So I know women that went on the HCG diet a couple times. I'm talking about middle-aged women. They couldn't get out of a chair after running that diet 3 times. They lost more muscle than they lost fat. It's
very dangerous, very dangerous. But again, unfortunately, a lot of people just want to see the scale drop, right?
And that's why I say that when I say this, most people cringe because it's absurd, right? Yeah. But I say, if somebody says to me, I need to lose 100 pounds fast, get cancer.
Yeah.
Like if you don't care about how you lose body fat, all you care about is fitting into that dress when you go to that 50th high school reunion, cancer will do it for you. But that absurdity makes you stop and go, wait a minute. Not all weight loss is good weight loss.
Right.
But unfortunately, we have the medical orthodoxy who ignore that. Doctors don't tell their patients, well, the ideal way to lose weight is to add muscle or maintain muscle while losing body fat. They just go, oh, your BMI is 30. You just need to get it down to 25. I don't care how you do it. And there's just people out there who smoke cigarettes and drink diet soda all day long. Go back to the doctor and he's going, oh my God, you lost 10 pounds. Good job.
Right.
There's no DEXA scan. Nobody's going, oh my God. 8 of the 10 pounds was lower body muscle, like your glutes, your hams, they're gone. You're not going to be able to walk very good very, very soon,
This is why, like when I have my weekly check-in with my clients, I don't just have them upload their weight. I have them send photos. This way I can compare their photos side by side and see how is your body actually changing. Because again, a lot of times your weight might not drop 2-3 pounds in a week, right? It might not drop at all. But if you look at your photos and you see, you know what? Your abs are starting to come in a little bit more. Your shoulders are looking a little bit wider. Those signs are a lot better than just seeing the weight on the scale go in a certain direction, right? And a lot of people, they've been programmed to think if their weight isn't moving, then they're not progressing. And you and I both know this. Your weight could fluctuate. I mean, at least mine, 5 to 7 pounds in one day, depending on how much water I'm drinking. If I'm eating more carbs or more sodium on one particular day, my weight might be up 5 pounds tomorrow. That doesn't mean I put on body fat. It just means that I'm just holding more water. But a lot of people,
that's another problem women have.
Yes.
They'll get on the scale one morning and they're like, oh my God, I'm 3 pounds up. And I'll say, but that's not fat.
Right.
That's fluid. You pee that out over the good day. Give it a chance.
And I actually made this point on my Instagram page yesterday. In the morning, I woke up and I weighed myself because I've been doing my own personal 30-day fat loss challenge because I had shoulder surgery about a month ago. So I'm not able to do any upper body training. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this as an opportunity to really just, drop a good 10, 15 pounds to get really lean. So yesterday, every morning, I post my weight on my Instagram story. I woke up, I was weighing around 218 pounds. I'm 6'2", just to kind of give you some perspective on my size. I drank my cup of coffee. I had a bottle of water. I stepped right back on the scale and my weight was up to around 220 pounds. So my weight jumped 2 pounds within an hour time frame, right? So this is why I tell people, listen, if you don't weigh yourself first thing in the morning after you go to the bathroom naked, don't bother weighing yourself for the rest of the day because all it's going to be doing is screwing with your mind. You're going to think you're gaining weight, right? As soon as you start eating or drinking, don't look at the scale until the next morning. And even then, you have to take the weekly average of all your weigh-ins throughout the week, right? Take your weight every single day, add it all up, and then divide by 7. And that's going to give you your weekly weight loss average. That's a helpful tool. But if you just go based off what your weight is from day to day to day, that could be a really, really big, big mental mind game. And it affects a lot of people.
So, it's funny you say this because I would rather, I don't even weigh, I weigh myself maybe once every couple months. And I'm right now, I'm very steady, 230 pounds. I'm always 230 pounds, but I haven't trained legs seriously for a couple years because of a couple surgeries and injuries. And I'm about to embark on leg training again. I'm 230 pounds right now, and I've lost a lot of muscle below the waist, which means my upper body has put on a lot of muscle. And it shows. I look at my shoulders are bigger and rounder than they've ever been. So I'm cool with this. I don't care. I hope I end up being 270 pounds and 6% body fat in the end of this. I don't care how heavy I am. I just want to be more muscular. That's all I care about. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to get your opinion on consistency, because in my humble opinion, this is really the most important factor. The book is actually called The 77 Laws of Six-Pack Abs. You can go to shrnetwork.biz/77laws to learn more about it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of Superhuman Radio. Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High-quality, pasture-raised, great-tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose-to-tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/whiteoak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 10% off your entire first order. Have you been struggling to achieve results in the gym? Trouble sleeping through the night? Overwhelmed with stress stress or anxiety? Look no further than Infiniwell supplements. They have designed products to address specific needs like muscle growth, hormone balance, sleep, and anxiety from the first use. Infiniwell helps you live well. Go to shrnetwork.biz/bewell, that's BEWELL, and use code SHR20 and start living well today. Redcon One's new BAR bar is the ultimate soft-baked protein-packed snack bar, powered by peanut butter. Perfect for while on the go to help curb hunger or sneaky sweet tooth cravings. With 20 grams of protein, use as a meal replacement bar or when you're in need of a high-protein snack. Eat a Redcon One bar as a midday snack or for fuel before an intense training session. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Redcon1 and use the code SHR25 and save 25% off these delicious bars today. Legendary. I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is MyPillow. I've been sleeping with MyPillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have MyPillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website. Hey, this is Carl Lenore. Superhuman Radio is the longest-running health, fitness, and anti-aging podcast in the world, going into our 16th year of continuous production. If you have a product that you think would appeal to the Superhuman Nation, we can get you on the air quickly and inexpensively to help promote your brand. Join the ranks of some of the largest and most successful companies in the world who know how great it is to be affiliated with Superhuman Radio. Contact Dan Kapitsky today. That's DAN.KOPITZKE at superhumanradio.net to learn more. I need to share with you all a revolutionary new wearable technology called HapBee. HapBee allows you to enjoy the effects of caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, melatonin, and muscle relaxants without actually ingesting anything. Yes, really. They figured out the unique magnetic signature of each of these molecules and recorded them. Just put the HapBee on, choose the signal you want, and it starts projecting the magnetic signature of that molecule that you choose, like coffee for feeling alert. Go to hapbee.com/SHR. That's HAPBEE.com/SHR to learn more and unlock an $80 discount exclusively for the Superhuman Radio listeners.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Welcome back. So, Stephen, I find that consistency is the number one problem in anybody trying to change their body, whether it's add muscle, lose fat, or both of the above. No one gives it enough time. Is that a result of the horrible marketing by supplement companies?
I mean, it's undeniable, right? Again, people want to lose weight quick. People want to go from being out of shape to being in shape overnight, right? I always say this. How long did it take you to get to where you are right now? How long did it take you? Yeah. How long did it take you to become 100 pounds overweight? Did it happen overnight? I don't think it did, right?
Decades.
So you have to be patient with the process because let's face it, changing the human body, it takes time. I mean, one of the first things one of my earlier coaches, taught me when I first started getting into bodybuilding and training and really wanted to transform my body. He told me it does not matter what kind of nutrition plan I give you. It doesn't matter if I give you the best training program in the world. If you're not following it, if it's not adhered to consistently, day after day, week after week, month after month, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get results, right? He told me if you can't be consistent, you can't be anything. And that stuck with me for the past 15 years. I mean, I've never forgotten that. And it's the truth, right? You can't be consistent Monday through Friday. Then the weekend comes and you fall off. And then here we go. It's the Monday diet again. Here we just, staying on the roller coaster. It's the Monday. And this is the situation for a lot of people because let's face it, being consistent, it's hard. It's not easy to be consistent day after day, week after week, month after month, right? Most people are willing to do the work in the short term. Anyone could train hard for 5 days,
right?
but can they do it for 5 weeks or 5 months? Because like I said, man, changing the human body, it doesn't happen overnight. And if you don't give yourself grace, if you don't have patience with the process, you're never going to get to where you want to be, right? So that's a really important thing. You have to be consistent.
So what's the length of time when you introduce something new? Let's say a new dietary template for somebody. How long do you give it till you tweak it? Is this a factor of the 2-week rule? I've always heard the 2-week rule of do it for 2 weeks. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing too, right? It's like everyone's a little bit different. I mean, everyone's different metabolically. Everyone responds a little bit different. I might have someone drop 5 pounds their first week, right? Working with me. So, I always say this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If someone dropped 3 pounds their first week or 5 pounds, why would I want to lower their calories, or why would I want to reduce their food intake? Because the one thing people don't realize is that when you do start a nutrition plan, if you start out at a really low calorie intake, the only way you're going to be able to burn more body fat is to lower your calories even further, right? And again, a lot of people, what do they want to do? They want to lose weight quickly. So what do? They start in a severe calorie deficit. They start under eating. And then when the scale stops moving, they have to go lower and lower and lower. So I like to start people out a little bit higher, see how their body's responding to the calories, and then lower it, very, very slightly as we move through the program. But again, if I have someone that's dropping consistently 2 to 3 pounds per week, and they're continuing to follow the same calories, why would I want to lower that? Why would I want to interfere with it? Right now, I might manipulate their carbs a little bit. I might manipulate their fats a little bit, just to kind of, maybe flush out a little bit more water, maybe burn a little bit more body fat. But, when we talk about drastic calorie reductions or really tweaking things, there's no need for it, because kind of going back to consistency. If I know they're being consistent and they're not, cheating, or they're not, overeating, then the body's going to change. It's only a matter of time, right? But again, changing calories, some people, every 2 weeks would suffice. But like I said, if your weight is continuing to drop consistently,
you don't change your program until it stops dropping.
Right.
What about cheat days? Cheat meals. So there are some coaches that offer cheat meals. We're like, okay, you have one meal on a Saturday. It's whatever you want. Yeah. But that could be a dangerous thing if it's like, okay, I'm going to have 2 pizzas.
Yeah. I mean, so I always say this, don't do cheat days, right? Because that's what I was guilty of in the past. I would
Sunday, right?
Sunday was my big cheat day, and I would literally undo all my hard work from the week prior. So, cheat meals, I still do a weekly cheat meal myself. I mean, like I said, I'm a foodie. Like I love to eat just as much as I love fitness. It's part of my life. But again, I have to do it in a balanced way, right? So I give myself 1 meal per week, whether it's a Friday night or a Saturday or a Sunday, to enjoy myself. I don't measure it. I don't track it. Like most of the time, that might be 4,000 calories, 5,000 calories for my daily calorie intake, right? But that's a lot better than having a cheat day to where that could easily be 10,000
calories. Right.
Yeah. So then you're really doing a lot of damage, right? I mean, let's face it. Most people can't really eat more than 3,000 calories in one sitting. If you're a big foodie like me, I mean, I could put away food pretty quick. Yeah. So, but again, it's like, if you have one big cheat meal per week, it's going to keep you full for the rest of the day. So, the odds of you continuing to want more and more and more is going to be a lot less likely. Now, some people say that they don't believe in cheat meals. Some people would rather do like a refeed day, right? Where it's like kind of just like a healthier way of eating more calories. You're just adding
more right? Refeeds are usually more carbs too, right?
Yeah, more carbs to kind of help out with recovery, help with, replenishing the muscle glycogen, right? Just to kind of give you more energy. And I have some clients where I do that. One of my clients, John, he's dropped like 40 pounds already in the past, 3.5 months. And what we do now is every 3 or 4 days, we just do like a little refeed day. He gives him a little energy bump. This way that will sustain him another 3 days. And then we might do another refeed day, right? So for those who don't know, a refeed day is just pretty much, eating at your maintenance calories, where you're not gaining weight, you're not losing weight. It's kind of a wash, right? But that's going to help you, again, stay consistent for the long term. Because again, if you're in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, the cravings are going to kick in, the hormones are going to go crazy, and it's only going to be a matter of time before you end up just binge eating or overeating. Yeah.
Well, what's your go-to cheat meal? Is it pizza?
I always say I don't discriminate when it comes to cheat meals. I love Italian food, but typically I love sushi. I'm a huge sushi guy. I don't know why. I think it's the there's something about the sodium and the, I don't know, the carbs. I love Mexican food too. Pizza, I mean, listen, if you give me any three of those cheat meals, I'm not gonna argue with you.
I've walked into sushi bars by myself and I've dropped close to $200 just on sashimi.
Every time.
I stopped eating sushi just because I didn't want all the rice, but I would just get salmon and tuna sashimi and I would eat it. And I don't even feel full. It's amazing how raw fish hits your stomach. And it's like, I don't know where it goes. You don't feel full. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always prepared to spend at least $150 if I'm going to a sushi restaurant on my
especially if it's a cheat.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and plug the book one more time here. The book is The 77 Laws of Six-Pack Abs. You can get it by going to shrnetwork.biz/77laws, 77 LAWS. You can learn more about Stephen there. Stephen, what's your Instagram? You got a huge, you have a massive following. I mean, it's just amazing to me. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, so it's just my first and last name. So Stephen with a PH, Stephen Campolo. So that's me. I respond to all messages personally, try to do it and get back to everyone within 24 hours. So, anyone that's listening, if you have any questions, need help, need direction, I'd be happy to help you out, send you some free resources as well. That's what I'm here for. I want to help people along in their fitness journey. So any way I could help, please feel free to reach out.
Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Again soon. Okay.
You sounds good, buddy.
So we are going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I've got a lot of messages and emails about the Tao Patch. We talked about the Tao Patch a couple of weeks ago. A lot of the research on the Tao Patch is done in people with multiple sclerosis. And, when these types of things come out, people are like, hey, Carl, is this legit? And I'm like, look, there's science behind it. But people generally want to hear more than just the science. And so we're going to have somebody who's been using the Tao Patch, who also has multiple sclerosis. And we're going to find out what he thinks of it. His name is Michael Dentist, and he's going to be on with Dmitry Leonov from Tao Patch. So we're going to take one quick commercial break. Stay with us because I promise you this is going to be really, really interesting. We'll be right back. I want to introduce you to Tao Patch, a heavily researched, patented wearable device that provides immediate and long-lasting health benefits. Tao Patch's nanocrystals convert your body heat into light of specific therapeutic frequencies that optimize your central nervous system. The health benefits of Tao Patch include relief from chronic pain, better sleep, increased focus, reduced stress, improved athletic performance, and more. Discover what it can do for you by visiting shrnetwork.biz/Tao Patch. That's TAOPATCH. Use code SHR for your superhuman discount today. Every day, there's a new wellness trend. Eat that. Do this. Avoid those. How do you know where to start or who to trust? Inside Tracker helps you cut through the noise by analyzing your blood, your DNA, your lifestyle, and your fitness tracker to provide you with a science-backed, trackable action plan on how to live, age, and perform better. Personalized, one-size-fits-one recommendations to help you optimize you. For a limited time, Inside Tracker is offering Superhuman Radio listeners 25% off the entire store. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Inside Tracker, INSIDETRACKER, to save 25% off. Change begins on the inside. Legendary. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. cookies. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. Is there something interfering with your happiness or ability to achieve your goals? BetterHelp can help. They will assess your needs and match you with a licensed therapist. This is not a self-help or crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely online. They have a broad range of experts and are available worldwide without having to wait in an uncomfortable waiting room. Get the help you need and start living a happier life today. Go to shrnetwork.biz/betterhelp. That's better, HELP, and receive 10% off your first month of counseling when you use the code SHR. Redcon One's new BAR bar is the ultimate soft-baked protein-packed snack bar, powered by peanut butter. Perfect for while on the go to help curb hunger or sneaky sweet tooth cravings. With 20 grams of protein, use as a meal replacement bar or when you're in need of a high-protein snack. Eat a Redcon One bar as a midday snack or for fuel before an intense training session. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Redcon1 and use the code SHR25 and save 25% off these delicious bars today. If there is one mineral you should be worried about not getting enough of, it's magnesium. Magnesium is the body's master mineral, powering over 300 critical reactions, including detoxification, fat metabolism, energy, and even digestion is influenced by the presence of magnesium. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about a new magnesium product I've been taking now called Magnesium Breakthrough. It's the ultimate magnesium supplement, easily the best I've ever seen or experienced. With all 7 forms of magnesium, I was able to arrange an amazing deal for my audience, and I guarantee it's the best deal available on this product. Seriously, with volume discounts combined with our custom 10% coupon code SHR10, you can save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough. And I promise that this deal is only available on this specific website, magbreakthrough.com/SHR. You won't find that deal on Amazon or even on the company's own website. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use code SHR10 to save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. Don't hate us because we feel good.
Welcome back.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, how you doing? We're joined by Dmitry Lenov and also Michael Dentist.
Hello.
And welcome. Thanks for being here today. Thank you. And so Dmitry and I were talking the other day, and I said, we're getting a lot of people who are asking questions about the Tao Patch. And, we still really don't have the trust of these wearable devices today. I mean, okay, even Oura Ring, Elise is like, it's not getting my steps properly. I have more steps than that. And so we still have a little bit of a distrust, if you will. Like, how can these things really work so well? And so people have reached out to me, oh, my mom has MS. And, do you think this really works? And I said, there's studies that show that it does. And I asked Dmitry, I says, can we get somebody on the show who's had an experience with it to put it in their own words? So that people can hear it from somebody else, because obviously Dmitry and I, they feel like, oh, well, you guys have a vested interest in promoting this product. What about somebody else? So Michael Dentist has graciously agreed to come on the show today and talk about this topic. Thank you for doing that, by the way, because nobody wants to talk about their own issues, quite frankly. And I really appreciate your courage to come on the show. So, Michael, start from the beginning. You have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, I was diagnosed in 2013 with MS, repeating remitting. My symptoms were fairly mild in the beginning. So just some numbness in my left leg, but I could carry on as normal. Over the years, my mobility got worse. So it wasn't possible for me to walk long distances. I'm an avid golfer, so I would measure that by how many holes could I play before I got tired.
Mm-hmm.
So it became 14 holes, then it became 9 holes, and I had to take a cart for the last 9 holes. And it got right down to 2 holes, but I couldn't walk more than 2 holes. And I have to take a cart every time I go out and play. So that's what I noticed, my mobility getting less and less. Also, I like to travel with my wife. We like to explore new towns and see places. More and more, she has to go on her own and park me in a cafe or a restaurant while she has a look around and comes and tells me what the place is like. So I just noticed my mobility get less and less.
Now, is there any? I'm kind of unfamiliar. So So it sounds like numbness is one of the problems with MS. Is there pain? Is there muscle pain?
So what happens is, because I get tired in my left leg and the messages go a little bit slower between my brain and my left leg, then when I get tired, I start to limp. And when I start to limp, naturally my back and the rest of my body wants to compensate.
The other leg, the other leg, the other hip, the other knee, right.
Yeah, and then by the time I'm finished, if I push myself too hard, then I go to bed, I wake up in the morning, my lower back is in absolute agony. I can't move for sometimes 2 or 3 days. I couldn't move because I'd pushed myself too hard on one day. So that's just a knock-on effect of these messages traveling slower. So yeah, that's how it really manifests itself in other areas.
So how many years have you had to deal with multiple sclerosis now?
Like I say, I was diagnosed in 2012. I had one attack diagnosed in 2013 after the initial attack in 2012. And I haven't had a second attack. So I have to say that if you're going to have MS, you want to be as lucky as I am.
Now, explain the attacks. I didn't know there were acute. I thought it was just a slow progressive disease. What is the attack like? What is the attack?
So what it is your white blood cells, your antibodies, attack the sheath that protects the nerves, the
myelin sheath, right?
And then, so that's what MS is. The body thinks, oh, wait a minute, this is an alien thing in the body. We need to get rid of it, not realizing that's what's protecting your nerve. And so it will attack the nerve, and then it will attack the sheath, and actually then as a side effect, it eats the nerve as well. So the attack can take place anywhere in your nervous system, and it can affect anything. So for some people, it affects mobility. Some people lose their sight. There's no two cases of MS exactly the same, because it's like throwing the dice. What number's going to come up? Where's it going to attack? What's it going to do? How severe is it going to be? You just don't know.
So how did you learn about Tao Patch?
So I have a friend in Manchester, where I'm originally from, who was diagnosed with MS very, very early. He was 19 years of age. And I've known he had MS for quite a long time. I actually kept my MS fairly secret for a while, basically because I lost a job when I told my boss I had it. And you don't want to tell people you're disabled in any way. You just want to be a normal person. So I flew under the radar as long as I could. But eventually I touched base with him and said, hey, I've got what you've got. Not as severe as he has it. And he's always talking to me about different treatments he's tried, and he's had it really bad in comparison to me. So he's tried a lot of things, huge doses of vitamin D and some different things. And he said, oh, I found this thing, Tao Patch. And the first 3 times he tried to talk to me about it, I just snubbed it. Yeah. I just went, yeah, right, another fad. And I'm very skeptical. And so eventually I listened to him, what he had to say. And then he showed me the Tao Patch on his chest, and just opened his shirt and showed me, and he was wearing one. And I said, okay. And I still didn't believe a word of it. I wasn't buying a bar of it, to be perfectly honest. But I said, okay, that's interesting. And he's a friend of mine since we were children. So he said, would you be willing to try? And I said, oh, look, I'm open-minded. Yes, I will try anything. And if there's something that can benefit my mobility, yeah, I'll give it a go. Still not believing at all
Right.
But
I mean, let's be honest, Dimitri. To average people, it's hard to believe, right, that you could put this thing on your thorax and your chest. I mean, your chest and the back of your neck, and it does something. Most people they can't understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
and
very common thing. It's
Adrian said to me, he said, you put it in specific places, it converts body heat to light, and then it helps amplify the messages. It's not a cure for MS, but it's a device that will, that may help you. So he didn't say it will help you, he said may help you. And Mr. Skeptic here, I said, okay, you know what? I'll open my mind. I'll put these things on. I have zero expectation. I said, what happens when it doesn't work? He said, I'll give you your money back. I said, okay. How much is it? He told me the price. I went, okay. No, you know what? If I get benefit from this, it's really worth it. It's actually worth a lot more than that. But so I said, okay. So it was the last week in August this year. I put them on. I only take them off to shower. I haven't taken them off yet. And skeptical as I still am, they work. And being a skeptic, I try to deny it, but they work.
What do you notice? So when you say they work, what do they do for you?
Okay, so the first day I put them on, the next morning I woke up, still staying with friends in the UK, not in my bed. So the mattress was a bit soft, and so normally I have some problems with that. And I woke up and I got out of bed, and my friend, pain, wasn't there. And I kind of got used to the pain. I've had it for a couple of years. And I got up and I wasn't feeling any pain. I was like, that's strange. I wonder. I'm like, nah, that's rubbish. That can't be true. And I walked around, and my wife commented, you seem to be moving around quite easily. I said, yeah, I'm having a good morning. And that was it.
You just wrote it off, yeah.
I just wrote it off, And then the next day we went on I woke up again pain-free 2 days in a row. Then I really started to question what was going on. And we went on a heritage train journey in Yorkshire, very beautiful scenery. And we went to a place called Carlisle, and there's a castle, which is about 20-minute walk, which I can't do, and 20 minutes back, which I can't do, which I did.
Wow. That's impressive.
But I did too much. So then the next day, and I knew I'd done too much.
Yeah, now if you do too much, that means the next day you're going to have a lot of pain.
Yeah, so I pushed it because I'm now starting to get intrigued with these things I'm wearing if they're actually doing something. So I pushed myself. So then the next day I wasn't feeling great. And I spoke to Adrian, funnily enough. He said, how's it going? I said, I really pushed myself yesterday, and I'm not having a great day today. Not a lot of pain, but just worn out. Mm-hmm. He said, your brain will do that. You've still got MS. You haven't got rid of it. And when you push your body too hard, it tends to shut off for a while it recuperates.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I'm interested to see. Now, normally, I have to say that would be at least 2 or 3 days of pain before I start to recover. Mm-hmm. So I had 1 day of discomfort, and the next day I woke up pain-free and ready to go again. And over the following weeks, it just gets better. So I haven't got pain. I don't fall over. I used to fall over quite a lot on the golf course on uneven ground, but you don't mind falling over when it's grass. You just don't want to fall over in the street.
Right.
I can play bunker shots again. That's about balance in the sand. I didn't have that anymore. And I'll tell you, I went to Munich for the first time with my wife. She was on business, and we went to Munich. And she had the Friday she finished early, and so we had some time in the city. And I walked with her for an hour in Munich.
Wow. And now normally without Tao Patch, you can't do that. You couldn't have done that.
No. I haven't been able to do that for 2 years. And all of a sudden I'm walking. And yeah, I still take the stick because I've got a walking stick, I guess for, I don't know, security more than anything.
Yeah.
But the funny thing
you
is,
trust it. You trust it. Yeah.
because I've fallen, but I was really the foot with the stick, the timing. Otherwise, I would fall over. Now the stick's kind of a token gesture
appliance, yeah.
around.
Yeah. It's
I actually noticed in Munich, I was walking along and I saw my reflection in a shop window, and I noticed that I was walking heel to toe. Whereas before it was heel to toe on my right foot, and my left foot was like I was wearing a flipper. It just came down.
A half of a shuffle.
Yeah. And so that's why I needed the stick. And now sort of I look, and I think that's why I'm pain free in the morning, is because my posture is better, my limping is much better, and therefore my body isn't compensating, and therefore I'm not getting the pain. So it's all a knock-on effect of being able to walk.
Dimitri, will the quality of this improve over time, or has he reached what the Tao Patch can do already?
Well, so the interesting thing about Tao Patch is it does work progressively, and it kind of works on deeper levels. So really what it does is it amplifies the signals between your nerve cells, right? And so it has a particularly strong effect in the case of MS, where there's that communication is really disrupted, right? Mm-hmm. But over time, what it really does is rebalances your nervous system, which then leads to rebalancing of all of your other systems as well, kind of also as a knock-on effect. And so there are deeper levels, and we've seen. And first of all, no case is the same, right? It's right. As Michael, as you said, every single case is completely different. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but we have seen that there is an ongoing improvement over time.
Michael, the friend that recommended you to try Tao Patch, how long has he been using it?
I don't know. I don't know how long he's been involved. I do know that he actually followed the request and videoed his progress, and I've actually seen part of that film. I mean, he was pretty much in a wheelchair. This guy was not mobile, and when he pushed himself, he had to be on two sticks, but pretty much all of his weight was on his arms on these two sticks. And now he's walking, and all those years he's had MS. I mean, he's in his 50s now. He got it before he was 20. So all those years have damaged his body, but he's walking with one stick now. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, maybe Dimitri knows better than I do how long Adrian's been using them.
It's been a year for him, just over a year, maybe a year and a couple of months.
And this can't be placebo, Dimitri. You can't think that you could walk now and all of a sudden you're walking.
Well, I'll tell you this. So we have done double-blind studies. So we haven't done them with MS because, for ethical reasons, there's a few reasons there. But so we have a lot of anecdotal feedback where people notice that they're not feeling so good one day, right? So they get out of the shower and then they're falling over again, and then they realize that they forgot to put the patches on. So it's like a reverse,
Yeah, like a reverse double-blind study. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. So, Michael, there are people in my audience that may be suffering from MS themselves and or have relatives that are suffering from MS. What would you say to them? Look, give it a try.
Yes, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. So how it's working, if it's working, you mentioned placebo, whatever it is, it actually doesn't matter, and I don't care. I put them on and I walk better. I put them on, I'm pain-free. I put them on, my relationship with my wife is better because I can do things with her again. So I don't care whether it's real or not real. I know I'm getting a better quality of life. When I take them off, I get worse again. I've done it myself. I came downstairs one morning to grab my phone because my phone was ringing, and I was actually getting ready for a shower, so I had them off. On the way back upstairs, I'm banging my left foot on the stairs going up. And my wife said, "Are you having a bad morning?" I said, "No, I don't have my patches on." So, I would say to anybody, open your mind, give it a try. For whatever reason, if it works for you, it works. If the quality of your life improves, why not?
All
For
right.
the money you're going to pay, let me tell you, I would pay 100 times. If you'd have told me 6 months ago that what I could do now walking with my wife, I would have paid you 100 times what I paid Tao Patch. I can tell you that right now.
And Dimitri, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a money back guarantee on Tao Patch, right?
Exactly. So if it doesn't work for you, or even if it works and you decide to, it doesn't work well enough, just send them back and we'll refund you. No questions asked. This
is really an inspiring story. I got emotional just now when he said he can walk with his wife again. Life is hard enough. And when you have a partner in your life, you depend on them to be everything you need. And she feels that way about you. And sometimes everything she needs is just to walk with you. So this is really very touching, very, very inspiring. And I hope that people out there who are listening, and maybe you don't have MS, maybe you have some other neurological disorder that hasn't been diagnosed properly yet, give Tao Patch a try. What do you have to lose? You can send it back and get your money back. Imagine if BMW says, hey, come test drive a car and use it for as long as you want, bring it back if you don't like it. Nobody does that because people don't, once they sell you something, they don't want to hear from you again. So this is very, very, a very, very inspiring discussion. I want to thank you, Michael, for coming on the show today. Really.
Pleasure.
And I want to just add one thing, Michael, thank you so much for sharing your story. One thing I also want to add, so once you buy the patches, whether or not you keep them or return them, we are with you the whole way. So the patches work for 2.5 years at 100% efficiency, and then they start to get a little bit less effective over time after 2.5 years. But we have our support team. You can call us. You can schedule a Zoom. In fact, we strongly encourage you to when you first receive the patches, to get on the call with us. We have these daily onboarding webinars where we make sure that you get the most out of it, because it's not a magic pill. You don't just put it on and all your problems go away. You have to make sure you drink enough water. You have to make sure the placement is right. Sometimes you have to adjust the placement a little bit. And Michael, I'm sure having Adrian guide you through it was very helpful. Right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I'm a typical guy, so I don't read instructions or go on websites or any of that sort of stuff.
I thought that was just American men.
he told me where they belong, and I put them on. But the benefits were that I started to feel it was almost immediate, even though I remained denying it for as long as I could. Now I can't deny it anymore. It works for me. For whatever reason, it really, really works. So, but I still haven't been on the website, and I still haven't read the information, but I put them in the right place. And I've had great support from Marco and from Adrian. So, it's good.
My listeners need to go to shrnetwork.biz/Tao Patch. It's spelled TAOPATCH, all one word, lowercase. And if you use the code SHR, you'll save 10% off. Give it a try. If you have anybody in your family or you yourself suffer from some sort of neurological disorder, or you've been told outright that you have multiple sclerosis, give this a try. What do you have to lose except the quality of life that you've been missing for so long? I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. And I love when, as a show, we can bring people information about technologies like this that you won't find anywhere else. And we can, and we don't just promote it, but look, we have people come on and talk about it. What's better than to hear a real life story about how, in this case, Tao Patch changed a life, and it's probably changing a lot of lives out there that we don't have time to do every interview. So I hope that people will give it a try. Thank you for being here today, Michael. Thank you for being here today, Dimitri. And we know we have other stories. We're going to have other people on. This is just starting with Michael Dentist because there are other people using Tao Patch. And again, regaining the quality of their lives, life-changing experiences. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Take care. Take care. And that's it for today's show. We have another show for tomorrow. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I should know. Oh, I think Natalie has put together a special show on insulin resistance, reversing insulin resistance. It's a series of interviews that I've done strung together. We're doing more and more of these topic-driven type shows where we're going back into the archive and piecing together interviews that all make sense to be in one show. And I think that's on tomorrow. And then Friday, we have a good show too, I know. It's actually going to be a special time at 1:30 instead of 1. So hopefully everybody will be able to tune in for that. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for all that you do to make this show successful. Please share these shows. You never know who you're going to help. And we'll see you tomorrow with more Superhuman Radio. Thank you.